Hi there, I'm Coach Daniel, and if you want to sleep amazing for the rest of your life, this channel is for you. Welcome to Insomnia Insight number 332, when we're going to look at 4 times when you typically are very hard on yourself. We're going to see how that can become a problem. Spoiler alert, it happens because when you deploy a lot of self-criticism, it can feel like things are hopeless. You are the problems. You just can't get it right. And when that happens, you get stuck. But we're going to see that when you deploy self-kindness, you see that there's nothing wrong with you. There is hope, and you can do anything you want to do. You can get any result you wish to get. That was a quick synopsis. And before we start today's lesson, I want to really thank Riley and Mick, who both shared with me that they've been spreading the word out there about this channel. And I've seen that there's been a real uptick in subscribers. Welcome everybody who's new to the channel. And I must admit, now that we have more than 1,000 subscribers, I was getting a little bit nervous today. I was like, oh my gosh, so many people out there tuning in here. And what if I say something that doesn't make sense, because I have a little bit of imposter syndrome sometimes, like as you guys know, I'm really, really passionate about the topic of trouble sleeping, but I haven't gone through it myself. So this topic is actually very good here. Have kindness, kindness to yourselves, to me, if I say something that doesn't make sense, and I'm going to try to be kind to myself, etc., etc. So anyway, thanks so much, Riley, and thanks so much, Mick. And with that said, let's jump in here. And I want to start with this. I want to say the following, that you have an amazing ability. You can keep your eyes on the prize. That is true. I want to say for everyone that has had trouble sleeping. Whether you are somebody that is a type A personality, somebody who always gets straight A's, somebody who is a little bit of a perfectionist, gets the job done, etc., high achiever, then you can certainly keep your eyes on the prize. Get that stuff done, That is a great ability. That is a great skill to have. Now, if you're somebody who tends to worry a lot, that may not necessarily be a great, ability, if you call it that, today. But remember, that is the reason that we have survived as a species. Safety is very important. If you are somebody who is someone who puts a lot of pressure on yourself to take care of your kids, your family, your work, etc., that is also great. You want to take care of everyone, your loved ones. That is great. And if you're somebody who overthinks, who overanalyzes, that's fantastic too. You're gonna, discover all kinds of interesting things. Maybe you'll be a researcher. I don't know, but that ability to really focus, think about something is great. If you are health conscious, like Christopher from yesterday's episode, that's great too. You take care of your health, you take that seriously, you exercise, etc. All those things are great. But when it comes to sleep, this can be the reason you have trouble sleeping. Whereas somebody that doesn't have your amazing ability would maybe not pick up on the fact that sleep is a little bit out of control at some point, and not try as much as you do to get it right, and to make sure it's working for you. That this is the time where that amazing ability you have can work a bit against you, particularly when this ability you have is kind of directed towards yourself. When you start thinking that I'm the problem, I can't get it right, I'm failing myself, why can't I do it, etc. And that's type of that self-criticism, being hard on yourself, I see so often when I take care of patients in clinic, or when I coach, or when I interact with people here on the channel, etc. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to give you 4 examples of particularly when I see people are being hard on themselves. So this is a very common one. I can't sleep, and boy have I tried. And this is not the I can't sleep that we sometimes is kind of like the concern that you've lost the body's ability to produce sleep, but rather the one where somebody goes, I just can't sleep. What's wrong with me? Everybody else can sleep. I've tried, melatonin supplements. I listened to all the tips. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. Why can't I do this? Something wrong. Why can't I do this? That comes so easy to somebody. That is one common example of when you are hard on yourself. You blame yourself for not being able to do this thing that comes so easy to many others. A similar one that is very common is, I can't control my thoughts. The thoughts just seem to be racing, popping up when they're not supposed to be. No control. They're random, And you have tried here as well. You've tried to control them. You tried meditation. You tried listening to white noise. You tried yoga. You tried deep breathing. You tried mindfulness. But you just can't. Again, you feel like you're failing. You just can't control your thoughts. You are being really hard on yourself here as well. Another one is this. I've failed CBT-I. You enrolled in a CBT-I course and you did everything right. You kept yourself up until midnight. You got up at 5. You got out of bed after 30 minutes when you were supposed to not be in bed, etc. But still, you're not sleeping better. You feel like you failed CBT-I. Or similar to that one, I messed up the program and now I'm back to square one. And when I hear this one, I'm being hard on myself sometimes. I'm like, dang, I didn't do a good enough job educating my client here. So sometimes, as a coach, you also have to exercise some self-compassion, self-kindness. But the time I see this is where somebody has done well for a stretch of time and then has, a sleepless night or a couple of them and then goes, dang it, what's wrong with me? I can't get it right. Why did this happen? Now I'm back to square one. I totally messed this up. Now, why is all this so very important? Well, it's because of this. So if we think about this being hard on yourself as a type of self-criticism, what happens when you are very critical of yourself, when you deploy that amazing ability you have to like eyes on the prize, and that gets kind of focused on yourself, and you're like, I'm doing everything I can, but I can't get it right. When you're hard on yourself like that, you can easily end up in a place of hopelessness because it feels like you are the problem. You yourself, you are the problem. You just can't get it right. You feel hopeless, and when that happens, you get stuck. It is very hard to make any progress, to learn, to to absorb positive comments from your coach, and to make progress is very, very hard. On the other hand, when you deploy self-kindness, when you tell yourself that it is not, I'm not the problem, I'm just doing my best, then you end up in a place of hope because you are not the problem, and it's just a matter of like maybe changing thought patterns, maybe changing habits, maybe learning more, etc. And when you have that hope, that foundation, anything is possible. So using those 4 examples we had, like how can you get there? What can you tell yourself that is different from what you're telling yourself now? And on a quick shout out to my wife, Jamie Roberts, who just before this episode, I asked her, what should I talk about? And she gave me this very great insight. She said, a good thing to do is think about what would you tell a friend that tells you what you're telling yourself? Meaning, starting with the first one here, what would you tell a friend? Imagine this. What would you tell a friend who said to you, I can't sleep? Would you tell your friend, what's wrong with you? How can you not do that? That's so basic. Of course you wouldn't. You would tell your friend, okay, I hear, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. Try this, try that, which sometimes is not necessarily great advice. But my point here is that you would tell your friend something that's supportive, something that's warm, something that's gentle and tender and nice. And that's what you should tell yourself too when it comes to this one. And very similarly with our next one. What would you tell a friend who said, I can't control my thoughts? You would probably say, nobody can control their thoughts. Nobody can do that. Maybe you should, take it easy, do something relaxing, which all those things are more complex than what I say now. But the point here again is you would not tell a friend, You know, what's up with you? Like, why can't you control your thoughts? You should just try more. You can, of course, everybody can control this. Like, why can't you do that? You would not say that. You would be gentle and kind to your friend, and you should be gentle and kind to yourself as well. What would you tell a friend who said, I failed CBT-I? Again, you would be gentle and kind, but I'm going to interject here myself with something which is, I think, is super important for everyone to know. I'm becoming more and more of a heretic here, and I'm realizing there's so many problems with CBT-I. And I just thought the other day about how, like, imagine what a cell phone looked like 30 years ago. It didn't even exist, but CBT-I really hasn't changed and developed in so many years. There's so much problems with, like, the tight sleep window, trying to control sleep, so much problem with stimulus control. So if you have felt this, like, why did I fail CBT-I? Don't be hard on yourself. More than anything, it's actually CBT-I that failed you. It has not developed, and it's not conforming to the to the student like it should. What would you tell a friend who said, I messed up and now I'm back to square one? Would you tell them, oh my gosh, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? How can you sabotage everything for yourself? You wouldn't do that. You would deploy compassion and kindness and friendliness. You would say, you'll be okay. Maybe try again. Maybe this is not the time. Maybe you should do this or that. You would deploy kindness. So before we go to kind of the conclusion here, I want to say, imagine this was a real scenario, and your friend told you, for example, I can't sleep, and you were telling her something, kind and gentle. If your friend was not kind to herself, then actually no matter what you said, it wouldn't help, because she would not be able to absorb that, take it in. And that is why this is so important. If you are not kind to yourself, it really doesn't matter what I as a coach tell you, or what anybody tells you for that matter, because the foundation is you have to be kind to yourself. So here's what I was thinking just before this episode. Something dawned upon me, a common expression that we often hear that I think really applies. I think for a lot of people out there are kind to themselves and maybe hard on others. And that's why we have the saying, do unto others as you wish that they would do unto you, right? But here's the thing, when it comes to people like yourself that have trouble sleeping, that often is so hard on yourself, I feel like actually the opposite is so very important. I think you should do unto yourself as you do unto others. Treat yourself as you would treat others. I think that will be truly helpful to you on your path towards sleeping amazingly well for the rest of your life. Let me know how you felt about this episode. Please comment or send an email to questions@thesleepcoachschool.com. With that said, I look forward to having you back here, and I'll be back tomorrow or maybe Thursday. Until then, take it easy.